How we doing, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Getting Jiggly with It. I'm Aughmoore, and today we're opening up one of our newest Kickstarters that we just got in, which is Tiny Epic Dungeons. So we did go with the all-in minus the playmats and stuff. With that said, we are going to go ahead and get this switched over so you guys can see the top cam phone thing. All right, so there we go. This is everything that we backed. So of course we've got the Tiny Epic Dungeons. This is the core box. Then there is the story mode, so Tiny Epic Dungeons Stories. And then, of course, we had to get the big Boss Meeples, just because big chunky bits are fun, and, well, otherwise you're using like a tiny little like token thing, so it's not really that great of a thing. So I guess we'll go ahead and we will start with the dungeons, and then we'll just go through the other things one at a time. Now, one thing that sets Tiny Epic Dungeons different from the other Tiny Epic games, most of your Tiny Epic games, they use meeples. And in this one, this was the very first time that they did miniatures. We like miniatures, we like painting miniatures. However, I think I would have rather had it with the meeples, maybe with the screen printing, kind of like, you know, the big bosses, right? But we'll see. I mean, we're going to enjoy it. We're going to probably paint them. I don't know if we'll get them painted in time for our first gameplay. We've been failing at that lately. Let's go ahead and look at the back real quick. So here we go. This is the Checkout Stories expansion. This is the Kickstarter edition, so there is one expansion in here as well. 8 minis. All your contents over here covered up by my face, but there we go. And what do we got down here? We got low downtime. Okay, so it's just, here is what it is epic. These are what defines an epic game, right? Easy entry, high strategy, low downtime, short play time, high replayability, and a, well, tiny box, right? And of course, my lid is on upside down because I always open them up when they first come in to either A, do a short unboxing. I don't know if you guys have seen some of my short unboxings. I don't know if you guys like those better, but anytime it's a full Kickstarter or anytime there's going to be miniatures, I may do a short unboxing, but I'll probably do a more detailed unboxing. Make sure you leave a comment in a short unboxing if you'd like to see a detailed of it. But with that, I digress. So here is the manual. So the manual here, the adventure manual. So it does have a nice little components list. That's everything comes in. Prologue to go over. Table of contents. Game setup. Winning and losing conditions. That's nice. And how you're going to win or lose at the very beginning rather than you waiting until the end to figure out how you're supposed to play the game. Types of actions and heroes. That was something there's a bunch of videos that says how to teach board games, right? And that's like one of the first things it says. The first thing you do to teach a board game, what is your conditions? What are you trying to do to win, right? Or accomplish whatever the goal of, say it's a co-op game. Then give those basic things that can be done to obtain that. Don't go over elaborate with all the steps before you ever say, how do you win, right? Because at least if you tell them how to win, then when you tell them the steps are like, oh, I see how that fits together to get that condition. But final boss, nice little reference sheet there. And I believe there is a reference sheet that you can print out. I saw in one playthrough, I forget which one, maybe it was One Stop Co-op Shop. He said there's like a 15-page, more detailed than what comes on this. So that may be something you want to look at. This is a little expansion. We'll do that separately. Makes it easier for timestamps down below. Minis is everybody's favorite. We will do those last. Let's go ahead and get into the dice. Now, I've seen people on Board Game Geek get this all to fit into one box, but it does mean that you're going to be mixing and matching between the expansions. So if you're somebody who only wants to have one box to take the entire game, these big meeples probably aren't going to go in there. Basically, I think that's all. I mean, because right now it all fits in one box. It's just whether or not you want all of the extra things. So here are your dice. So this is the Goblin Combat dice, if I'm not mistaken. And then these are your combat dice, and then they serve a dual purpose. If you use the dice, then of course you can, example, add +1/+1, right? Or say you only needed a 6, then you can use these +1s to get your power up, right? So after you've used your power, this is a way to regenerate power. And of course, you saw the heart. The heart is a way to regenerate health, but that's when you're 6, right? I don't know how often you're going to want to use your 6 to make it all fit in there. Now, something I said I was going to do, and maybe I'll try to do this. We were talking about everything fitting into the box. I want to do reboxing so people can see how games go back into boxes. So we're going to see if we can get all of the components, including the big chunky dudes, into these 2 boxes. So these are the tiles. So they are linen finish cards that actually bent pretty easy, and I wasn't even trying to. I didn't bend like there's no crease, but it did warp a little bit when I did that. So be careful with your cards. They are a little delicate here. So that is the entrance, or the stairs. No, that's the stairs. I got a little stair symbol, Will. All right. Here are our goblins. We have a stabby goblin, another stabby goblin, boomy goblin, a pokey goblin, a shooty goblin. All right, so I guess that's all your goblins. I do know that the expansions come with some extra goblins. All right, so here's our gear. We'll just kind of go through them so you guys can see them. I don't need to like really go over them much, but they do have your stats down at the bottom. There are sets. I know that you can collect the sets, but I'm hearing mixed things on the forum. Some people are saying that getting the sets is better. Some people are saying no, they're actually better equipment. Just get whatever equipment you get. You really don't have a chance to sometimes even get a full set unless you're playing the story mode, because in the story mode, you're going through 3 different levels, right? So you have a lot more chances to get loot. The Great Staff of the Phoenix. Okay, so there's all the Phoenix gear. All right, so that is your loot. And then these are your minions. So you have an ooze, troglodyte, minotaur, an ogre, the troll, the skeletons, the, what is that, dungeon crawler, so just basically a big spider, dire serpent. All right, so those are your minions. So I don't know how I should be keeping these separated. I guess it really doesn't matter too terribly much. All right, and then these are dungeon tiles. So these are the dungeon tiles for the, no, these ones aren't the minions. These are just like different things. So this is the door to the boss. This is a trap of some sort. This is a bridge of some sort. Ring of fire. That's another trap. Another trap. These look like a bunch of traps. Oh, these are dangerous. So I wonder why the bridge is... I guess because it's got a skill check. You have to do a skill check to try to get against the bridge. So maybe it's a rickety old bridge. Some money. A loot hordes. All right, so that's your loot cards. Some sleepy goblins there. Potions, although I think this is a different potion than the one. There is one in the expansion, Potions and Perils. There'll be like another potion room where you can make potions. Some kind of altar. So the art's really cute, really nice art. Really brings the sense that you're in a dungeon. So these are, I guess these are the minion spawns. Yeah, these must be the minion spawns. And then these are the spell cards. So we got Chain Lightning, Holy Abundance, Cloud of Death. That's what you want, a Cloud of Death. Fireball. Yeah. So these are the rest of the spells, Invisibility, and the Claw of Darkness. Alright, I don't know how these need to be. So we will just stick them off to the side for now until we figure out how to put everything back in the box. Alright, and then these are your bits. So the Kickstarter, and this is one thing with Tiny Epic Games, you get a lot for a little, right? A lot of your components, if you saw our Tiny Epic Pirates, we did do, well, I've done an unboxing, and I mean, obviously I've done some gameplays, even did a solo gameplay recently. All the components are usually really nice. These are nice, chunky wood bits. So these are the I disarmed trap indicators. They're kind of big, and I noticed that in the playthroughs I've seen is they cover up a good portion of the card. Let me get a card, right? So, right, I mean, if that's the trap, just to say this down here in the bottom corner, I mean, you really don't need it to be, I don't think you really need it to be that big to identify that you did the trap, but it is what it is. Right. These are the boss. There's one here, and then there's another one, I think, in the stories. So this is the boss token. So if you didn't get the big chunky meeples, then you have to basically use this to identify the boss. Not as fun, not as interesting. And then these are the minions. So what do we got for minions? We got the spider. We got I think that's the ogre. We got the slime. And it's got little bits. It's kind of cool. It's got little bits. It's got a skull and stuff in there. That's neat. I guess this one's the troll, maybe. And then I don't know what the other thing was. But yeah. Those are all the minions? No, I got more minions. I got this green lizard dude. Got a big snake dude. I got the skeletons, I think. 1, 2, yeah. All right. So those are all the minions in the base game. So all nice and screen printed for you. And then there's your little indicators. So these are, I forget what they call them, but they're basically just like placement, like where things can spawn, like spawn portals. Hearts to do health. So you get your gray hearts. You got your red hearts. The gray hearts are when you're playing, once you do, to be able to go into a boss, you have to defeat so many minions. So that just tracks the minions. The red hearts are for our health. And then here are the power tokens. The torch. So this game has a really neat mechanic where the whole game is based around your torch burning out. And if your torch burns out, you basically die down in the dungeon. And then the last thing are the goblins. So they made 4 different styles. That way it's more just so you can keep track, because if you notice, they all have swords and daggers, which means none of these are your shooty goblin, but on one of the cards, which we'll look at, they just basically match up with the color so you know which goblin that is. So if you have multiple goblins, and you never want to have too many goblins, because if you cannot spawn a goblin, that I want to say that I think, but that, yeah, I know, I think there's another way to lose the game. All right, so those are your tokens and bits. And then the last thing are your bosses and I guess player cards here. Well, the last thing, at least in this box, before we get into the minis, because everybody wants to see the minis. They did a really good job with the minis from what I can tell. So this is your track. So you have an Act 1 track, and you have an Act 2 track. I don't know when you switch from Act 1 to Act 2. Sure. Now, one thing that is on here that a lot of people have been complaining about is when you play a 2-player game with only 2 heroes, you're supposed to start the light here, but that's a huge deficit from, say, like the 4-player, the 3-player game. The 4-player game, the reason it's set so high is because you're going to have starts here, right? So you would have first player, second player, third player. By the time the 4th player goes, you're at the 3-player mark. So after 2 rounds, you're already down to the 2-player mark. The 2-player game, you're going 1, 2, right? And you're immediately starting to spawn goblins. Here, well, here you're kind of doing the same thing, right? You're going 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 4th player's turn, you get a goblin. Here you go 1, 2. But you got this thing here. This on a 4-player you wouldn't get until here. 3-player, you spawn a goblin immediately. Oh no, you spawn a goblin here too. Oh no, I guess you don't spawn a goblin. So yeah, 1, 2, 3. So it's at the end of everybody's turn, you're going to end up getting a goblin spawned. But like 4-player, it seems to be more fair, right? You got 1, 2, 3. So you got 4, and you got 3. I don't know. People were saying it's really hard. The whole game as a whole is really difficult. So when we play, we may just start at the 5 to give us a little bit of a easy mode, right? And they haven't said if they're going to make an official easy mode or not. All right. So here are our so you get player aids on the back. Again, never helpful if you're playing. I guess if you've got, well, we got 8, right? We got 8 heroes. So I guess that doesn't matter, right? So everybody gets 2 cards. One would be their hero, one would be their player aid. I don't usually like when they put player aids on the back of the cards, but this one I think it's fine because you can't play with 8 players. All right, so what do we got? We got Thornton Firebraid. So he is it looks like the dwarf fighter. I was going to say it looks like it. That's specifically what it says he is the dwarf fighter. 2 and 2. Doesn't have a lot of energy and kind of mediocre on his health. We have Gerald the Blue, who's an ancient wizard, so of course he has a lot of power, not a lot of health. Glass Cannon. Grok Ol, half-orc barbarian, of course he has 8 health, but he doesn't have a lot of power. Then we have Ethernia, I'm going to go with that, the elf sorceress, so kind of like the wizard. She has more power. She actually has more health. I guess the wizard's kind of old, so he's kind of feeling his age. Ulisa, dwarf cleric, so 7 and 6. Wing Clayus, the elf ranger. Moonblade, the wood elf rogue. You can't even see her face really in this. Okay, so there's her eye. Okay, she's looking up that way. I had to kind of really take a look at it to see what she was doing. On the box art, you can kind of see her face a little bit more, and she's looking more down than up. So it's kind of a weird choice there. She's kind of hard to tell that's what she is. And then the last one you have is Sir Lannon, the human paladin. So those are our heroes in this box. And then these are our bosses. The back of the boss cards are all the same because you're not supposed to know what boss, of course, you're going to go up against. So we have the dragon, we have the Hydra, the Goblin King, the Pharaoh, the Gorgon, and the Seer, which is not a trademark infringement on, oh, I was going to say Warhammer. Who makes the Warhammer stuff? Yeah, not an infringement on them. Wizards, no. Well, Wizards of the Coast makes magic. All right. So with that, that's all these guys. That's all these guys. We'll put you guys back in a chia. They're all nice and tidy in there. And then we got the minis. So, ooh, these are nice. So these don't feel hard. They're plastic. They're soft plastic minis, which is nice because that's when you're going to get tossed around, thrown in a box. If you're not going to paint them, nice to have that because you're less likely to have things break. His staff is definitely bent, so we're going to have to use a little bit of hot water there. But you can see there's a lot of details in these guys. So this is the wizard. Even on his book, I don't know if you guys can see that, but on his book, there's a lot of fine, like it's even got like little writing down there on his book. So that is really nice. So there's the wizard. This is the rogue. So this is the elf rogue. So look at that. I mean, I don't know. These are tiny. I mean, I'm going to tell you, these are smaller than my thumb. And there's tons of detail on that for the size that it is. Now, we painted some small minis. I painted the Merchant's Cove minis. And then we also painted Audrey painted the... It's her favorite game. What's her favorite game? The Santorini. Holy cow. You know when you're trying to think of something and it just leaves you? That's me all the time. My brain goes faster than my mouth, and then my mouth goes slower than my brain sometimes. So there we go. So there she is. And then we got the dwarf. So the dwarf cleric there. So same thing. Lots of good detail on these guys. Look at that. I mean, you see her braids and everything. So these are going to be fun to paint. I was debating, did I want to just do a wash or do I want to paint them? But with as much detail as they were able to get, these tiny little minis. Look at that, the cracks in the shield. Yeah, they did an awesome job with these guys. So that is the dwarf. And I think this is the paladin. Yeah, he's got his paladin helmet there. He's just not wearing it. Big old mace that he's carrying. But yeah, same awesome detail. Look at that. These are going to be so much fun to paint. All right, so who's this? This is the elf wizard or priestess. Was she a wizard or a priestess? I forget what they said she was. But yeah, that's her, the magic user. So Audrey will probably play as her. And I've heard there's good and bad combos. Like you kind of want to make sure you have a ranged and a melee. And for range, they're kind of saying go with the wizards and the casters because they're the most powerful. I remember Table Knots when they did theirs. Whoever was playing, I can't remember if it was Max or Dylan, was playing one of the wizard characters and basically was just one-shotting everything. They were just so powerful. Here's your barbarian. Look at that, all the fur. Like they had so much detail in these tiny little minis. Other companies can take some lessons from Gamelyn. I don't know if Gamelyn's ever made them this small. I think they've got minis in their air, land, and sea, but I don't know if they're this small of minis. I mean, look, even in that, I don't know if you guys will be able to see that. Even that quiver, there's just enough little bit of detail in it to make it look like it's multiple arrows in the quiver. There we go. Those are the minis for the base game. All right, so we're sitting kind of things off to the side because we're going to see if we can get this all to go back inside of one box. All right, so this is the mini expansion. This is the Kickstarter exclusive mini expansion. So this won't come in the regular base game. So if you're buying this at retail, these are the extras you won't get. Now, you might be able to get it off their website sometimes. I know Gamelyn and a lot of publishers, they will sell these versions on their website. So this is one of the new baddies is the Demon Lord. And then we have the Lich. And then there are going to be, well, we got new little minion tokens. So I'm going to guarantee there's going to be some new minions. So here's our minion tokens. So this is some kind of, looks like a wraith type thing and some kind of gargoyle maybe. Let's see if we're right. Let's see if we are right, and we're going to get a wraith and a gargoyle. All right. So we got these new purple potions. So these are potions. This is what it adds. So now you have magic, potions, and items. So these are your potions that you can add. So you got an epic muggo ale, the witch's brew. So it's like, you know, plus health and armor, plus health and rejuvenation, or for your power, running. Healing potion, well, that's going to heal. Magic elixir, well, that's going to help your magic. A mind tonic and a strength filter. I don't know what a filter is. I know you got filters to filter things. I wouldn't think a filter for filtering strength. All right, and then you got the Mixie Goblin, which makes sense because potions. Mixie Goblin. And then here is one of the new minions. So it's a wraith, which is, I don't think I said that. Okay, and it's a vampire imp. All right, it kind of looks like a gargoyle, but no, that makes sense. Okay, he's a little vampire imp. And then this is the new dungeon tile, which is the potion room. So these I think you can add in to pretty much any game. So I don't think there's a reason not to add these. The story cards, on the other hand, like I said, I've heard that it just dilutes the deck way too much in a normal game. But I don't know. We haven't played yet. We'll find out when we play. So here we go. This is the little manual, just like in Pirates, Tiny Epic Pirates. It was a tiny little manual that had all that in it. So here are these. I don't know why I'm putting these up, because I think we're going to combine these with the base game. All right. So that is the main box and the mini expansion, the Kickstarter exclusive expansion. So now we're going to look at the stories expansion. So this basically allows you to play two different modes. There's a nice little map in here of the world. And then, was there anything in the top of this? No, it's just a little dungeon guy look in there. Anything in the bottom? No, nothing in the bottom. Always got to check the boxes now. So here is the story. So there's two things in here. One are like story quests that you need to complete, and then the other is the basically, I don't want to call it dungeon mode. I don't know what they call it, but prologue. How to add stories to the game. You can add one or two depending on the difficulty. Okay, they call it the epic dungeon. So the epic dungeon is when you go through 1, 2, 3 layers, and then not only do you fight a boss, you fight a boss at layer 2. So there's boss, and then you fight a boss on level 3 as well. So definitely a lot harder. I'd imagine that's going to be a very long campaign. So you got the map again here, and you got the map here, which is cut off. So I'm guessing this maybe is where we're taking place this go round. Yeah, see, it's got like a little circle. So this must be where we are hanging out. It said something about goblins, right? Goblins Coast. Okay, so yeah, we're hanging out in this region. I think this is, if I remember from the campaign, this is the same thing that their other RPG style games take place in, both the Tiny Epic and Land, Air, and Sea. So you get Boss Meeples. So they do give you some more hearts because you're going to have to take out more minions. So you got more hearts. You have your quest objectives for your story. This is for the boss because you're going to have 2 bosses. But of course, we'll show you the giant Meeples. Some kind of golem minion. And I don't know which way you go. This way? And a lava rock monster minion. Let's see if I'm right. See if that's the technical name. Lava rock monster minion. Minis are always last because that's what we do. Get some Aughmoore. Should put that closer. I'm reaching clear over there to get it. All right, so new goblin. We got the mighty goblin here. So he's got a lot of armor, which gives him armor. And then you have the spelly goblin. So he's got a decent amount of armor too, but he can actually move and catch up to you quicker. All right, and then we got some new, and this is what I was saying. you can add these in, but like a lot of people say, because these are sets, would be instead of adding all of these in, take one set out and replace it with the set you want based on the kind of characters you're playing. Kind of optimize the item deck for your particular game. So this is a scarab set. Get more scarabs. And then you got the viper set. So this sounds like something for the rogue. Well, it even looks like something for the rogue would wear. Dungeon map. So some items, bedrolls. Now I think the items, they say, go ahead and add them. But for the sets, I think it's like pick the sets that work with your characters and put them in. Now again, that could also change based on player count. You have a higher player count, you're going to get through the deck a little bit quicker. All right, so it was a fire elemental, not a fire rock thing. And then the golems, I had the golem, right? Oh, he's got 8 hit points. So actually, both of them have 8 points. They're just big boys. All right, the stairs down, so you can get through each of the levels. Looks like you have some type of dungeon. Be nice if you could rescue them and get something out of it. Some kind of elixir. Fireworks. And goblins making fireworks. A portal of doom is what I'm going to call that. All right, and then these are the stories. So sacrifice a minion. It's got a little story to go with it, which is nice. And then it says there's a setup instruction. So each story is going to have its own specific setup instructions of where you're going to put certain things. So for example, here, cut deck via the dungeon deck into 2 halves. Shuffle the arcane ritual room into the top part. Place the objective token near this story card. And then it's got a picture of that room that you're looking for. So that's nice because the rooms themselves don't say what they are. So you would have no idea if it didn't show you a picture. That's good. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you got 8 different stories. And then and then on the back, so let's go to the one we were reading. That was this one. So the objective, when the card is revealed, place the objective token in it. You must lure a minion onto a ritual, see taunt a minion, and kill it while it's on that card. Taunt a minion. As a free action, you may spend 2 power to move a single minion its speed towards the hero, following open corridors in the dungeon. Taunting a minion is lost once the story is complete. Success, the minion is killed in the arcane ritual room. Failure, all minions are killed before success. So if you kill all your minions before you do it, and then that gives you +3 for completing the story on your torch, right? I don't remember if you have to complete the story before killing the boss. If I find that out, if somebody knows, let me know down in the comments, because I can't remember from the little bit of the rules I read. So that is that, and then we have some new tile cards here. So some new bosses. Yeah. So the first boss is the Tinkerer. So a little gnome Tinkerer there, and then we have the Mind Lasher. And then the new heroes, so we do get new heroes in this one. We have Taurus, the Elf Warlock. Glothlo, the Human Psionic. Zhejiang, the Pandarian Brewmaster. Laura Gambit, the Human Adventurer. She seems kind of out of place. Like, this is like medieval and mystical, and she seems a little bit too modern for that, like Indiana Jones. And you have Sir Gamelyn, so this is their mascot. Sir Gamelyn, Guardian of the Order. You have Evelyn, the Dryad Druid. Nilly Songheart, the Halfling Bard. Zezeli, the Human Monk. And then the back is just the same as the other ones. So this is more here. Right, so let's look at the minis and let's see if I can get everything to fit into these 2 boxes. The way we gotta look at minis, and I'm sorry, we gotta look at the big Meeples. Let's bring these guys over here. The way I saw somebody do is they put all the minis and the tokens and all that here, and they just put all the cards in the other. That makes the most sense to me. So let me see. It just means that wherever I go, I've always got to take both boxes. All right. So same thing, same quality. I mean, there's nothing. There's Gamelyn. But again, look, I mean, the chainmail there is just well done. So well done. Again, because it is that softer plastic, take a little bit of heat, or sometimes with this softer, like this really soft stuff, you can just kind of do it with your hand. like because you'll make it warm enough with your own hand. It's better to use hot water though, because you can do it in hot water, shape it, and then immediately dunk it into like ice water. But there you go. There is Gamelyn. Here is the little adventurer. So pretty much the exact same pose we saw on the art there. And then her whip. And then her backpack. Yeah, even got the little latches on her backpack. What's this thing here? Okay, that's just her pouch. There she is. There's the adventurer. Here's the brewmaster. He is so cool. I'm playing as him. I'm going to play as the brewmaster. You guys won't find the videos anymore, but I had some old homebrew videos when I started my YouTube channel. It was unboxings for like Loot Crate and Funko mystery boxes. And then I started doing homebrewing. I was like, well, I'll do some homebrew videos. And they did okay. But I got out of homebrewing when I started hanging out with some of my friends. And we were going out and stuff. And I just never had time. It takes a little bit. But I did like making beer. So here's the painter. But again, look at all that detail. It's just going to be so much fun to paint. Like, I don't know anybody that wouldn't paint these. Now, you may not be a good painter. And that may be why. But there's so many, like, cheats that you could do. And I'm going to start making some cheat videos. So if you're interested in seeing some cheat videos, let me know down in the comments what kind of cheats you'd like to see for your board game minis, washes, things like that. We'll see what we can do. I've been holding on to this drink. I should probably drink some. All right. All right. Who do we got left? So this is the... I forget what she was. But yeah, this is her. Was she a wizard? Was she a warlock? I forget what she was. I really do. But yeah, so good details on her as well. Okay, now I know he's the warlock. This is the guy warlock. Same thing. I mean, it's just so hard to get it to focus exactly on what I want to see. Like if I turn it a certain way, I can see like things come off. And that's where painting or putting even just a little wash on this will make this come a long way to seeing more of those details. So that is the warlock. The bard. She's got her little loot going on. Not the loot with the loot we want is the loot that you get in the actual dungeon. I like the little feather in the cap. Really nice. All right. Okay, so this is the monk, a Shaolin monk, I guess. He's got his same thing. Look at the braids on that ponytail. Really well done. And the key is, and this is where like a lot of people were complaining about the Marvel Zombies minis, and that they all look so chunky and bulky. That has to happen. For you to keep the detail once it shrinks down, it's got to be bulkier than normal, because that's actually normally a 3D print that'll then be turned into a mold that then will be made into a resin print, and then that resin gets turned into a mold that they'll then make the actual plastic PVC off of. It's a very laborious process, and every single step of the way you lose a little bit of detail. Especially on the smaller and smaller it gets. She's got a nice little bird in her hand. So this is the druid. Yeah, so she's the druid. So she's going to be kind of cool too. All right, so that is all of those minis. So let us look at the big bag of bosses. The big bag of bosses. See, my only problem with putting everything in like these boxes and painting those is if I would want to kind of leave them in the bag to try to prevent some of the movement. In another game, I could just make like a foam core insert, but in this one, not so much. So these have staples, which are very annoying. Yeah, because I'm going to rip the bag. Yep, I ripped the bag. That was to be expected. All right. But yeah, this one is so small. I saw somebody make an insert, but I don't know what they were using. Maybe there's some thin foam core that I'm not aware of. I also know that there are companies that make 3D printable ones, because there is one that I saw for the Tiny Epic. So these are your Boss Meeples. So instead of doing 3D minis, which I hate, and this is again why I said at the beginning of the video, I would have preferred these guys being Meeples. I don't like mismatch. Like I don't want standees with my minis. I don't necessarily want wood Meeples with my minis. So that I wish this would have been a upgrade to miniatures instead of the wood, but either way, I definitely needed them because I want that deluxeification. So that is the Hydra, and then the dragon. Is it the Yeah, so it's the same on both sides. So it's your dragon, the one-eyed dude, the big winged guy, the gnome tinkerer dude. What else we got? The death. I don't know. Death guy. No, there's the death guy. This is more like the death knight guy. I don't remember their names. I'm horrible with names, guys. This is the, I don't know. Oh, this is that mind. I think the mind flare dude. Mind flare dude. Big ugly troll king dude. And Medusa chica. There we go. So it is the bosses from everything. So it's the boss from the main games and the boss from the expansions. So that said, let's see if we can get everything to go back in here. Let's rebox this. See here, can I get... So these, too big to do double. So too big to do double. Put all those guys down there. So the way I saw this is somebody had them standing up, but I think they're too tall for them. See, and that's the thing. Once you paint them, that's gonna annoy them. Let's not do that. Let's see if we can get everything in here in bags. At least the minis. See if we can get at least the minis in here in a bag. And maybe somebody knows a better way to protect minis. I mean, I'm gonna varnish them, so it's not like they're gonna go into this unprotected, because just this little bit could be enough if you didn't varnish them to make that come off. So I'm trying to see. Yeah, that's good. All of these, and some bosses, man. Bosses are just too big. How about we do the opposite? How about we put all of the cards in here? Cards are small; they can fit. The minis are. These guys are kind of big. So let's put all you guys back in your bag. Main thing is I want to be able to get this in the box as well. So maybe if I have them, yeah, that would work. Have them stand up in the bag like this. If anybody's still watching this point, thanks. I should have practiced this. I should have done it, and then it would have made this, quicker and easier. So, oh, they do. Look at that. Look at that. They fit. They fit in their bag if they're standing up like that. That's good. I like that. I like that. So let's get our minis again. Down here and down here, so we can get all the minis there. Cards. Those are small enough to fit here. But I don't think, yeah, so these aren't going to be enough for there. So put the cards there. Yeah, those all fit, because these will fit. I don't know if I got more up here. I got too many. Too many. Hi. This is, Will you guys fit up there? Ooh, they will. Look at that. They fit up there. Put these there. Okay. I think we're cooking with gas now, man. All right. Those there. I guess I could separate the minions and stuff like this to make it fit more. Because that's the other thing I did notice, that like a lot of the ones I saw, they were making everything fit pretty much outside of the bags. Like they weren't keeping the bags. And I know with my tiny epic pirates, in the bags is a tighter fit than out of the bags. So same thing, yeah. So like if I took all this out of the bags, it's easily gonna fit out of the bags. Same thing. It definitely fits easily out of the bags. Maybe I have to go against what I wanted to do. box. There. Bosses. It's a work in progress. I'll get it. I'll get it. All right, let's get all the bosses in there. All of our minis in there. That's good. All of these guys here. I don't know why I'm messing with that. I'm eventually gonna have to probably take that out of its bag too. Dice. I don't remember the dice. Okay. So the dice are there. More tokens down in here. These little tokens, though, I don't want to lose those little tokens. I don't want them to be all over the place. So maybe take one of these tiny bags. Put all the little tokens. Put all the little tokens in the tiny bag, right? All the tiny tokens that I don't want to lose. Tiny tokens go in tiny bag. Alright, that looks good. That fits right up on top of there. These here. Yep. These are the same. We'll just kind of stack those up there. Oh, two more. Can I get them all in there? Oh, guess I can put that in there. Oh, I may have did it, guys. It's like a puzzle. It's like a big jigsaw puzzle. Little old jigsaw puzzle. Put that one in there. There we go. So that's there. That's there. Now, I know a lot of people like to sleeve their cards. There's a little bit of room here. I mean, there's space there, right? And this is where I'm kind of debating about painting them, right? Because if I do just like some kind of wash or color technique to them, with Army Painter's got some new speed paints, I do have those on pre-order, then I could see not needing to worry too much about them getting nicked, because that would just add to the finish, right? I don't think I'm going to fit the books in here. How about we do this? Let's take this and get in here instead. That gives us some cushion. And take these and make them single layer. And that should give us some room for the manuals. Is the lid for that. There is the lid for that. No box lift. No box lift. That is all the way down. So now somebody else did mention this. If you want to have more room, this is a simple solution, right? Because if you do this, the box goes all the way up in there, but if you build if you build an insert before you do that, right? So you build an insert that would increase the height of this box to the same as this one, and just have it. I mean, you wouldn't even have to do a full insert if you didn't want to. You could just do corners, because I did that on Merchant's Cove. They came with these little corners. I left them in there because it was going to have some box lift if I put everything in. But yeah, you put some little corners, then you can just use this as the lid for that. And then you just use the lid for this. And you get that mushroom, is what they call it. I may not like that, but I don't know. I got everything in. It's not sleeved, but it's in. All right, so let me go ahead and do this. Guess I won't be doing that. Let me do it this way. All right, so there we go, guys. That is Tiny Epic Dungeons, a full unboxing, full overview of all the components, plus how to get both of them to fit back inside of the boxes. If you guys like these reboxings, If you like me struggling through the reboxings, or you want to have it more of a clean, I already know what I'm doing reboxing, let me know down in the comments, and we will try to keep these in the videos. That's it, guys. If you want to watch this gameplay, we'll be playing it sometime in the future. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, bell notification to know when we go live. Until next time, guys. Peace.